Well, hello again, BookTube, and welcome back to another one of these BookTube reading events. Today I'm going to talk about a book that I read for June on the Range. That is Michael K. Vaughan's event that he hosts where it's all dedicated to reading Western literature. Louis L'Amour, Larry McMurtry, people like that, Zane Grey, and I decided sort of on a whim to read a Western novel. Um, and it only took me a couple days. It's not very long. It's one of the staples of the industry of the Western novel. It is A True Grit by Charles Portis. Uh, Arguably the ugliest book cover I've ever seen. I don't know whoever decided to do this, whoever decided to make this book cover, or whoever gave the go ahead for this, gets an F. Who even overlooked press? Yeah. And this edition has an afterword by Donna Tartt. Um, I did not read that afterward because there's just something about her writing that really annoys me. Um, but this book is the focus. So yeah, I read this in just a couple of days. It was by Charles Portis. I'm sure most of you have at least heard of this, if not read it or seen one of the two movie adaptations. Of course, there was the one with John Wayne and Glenn Campbell, and then the Coen brothers did one with Jeff Bridges, and I think Haley Steinfeld was the name of the actress that played Maddie, and Matt Damon, for whatever reason, was in it. I've not seen either of those adaptations. I really want to now that I've read this book. Um, but yeah, if in case you don't know, this is about a girl who, a 14-year-old girl who her dad gets shot and killed by the coward, um, uh, Tom Chaney. I don't know why I forgot his name. By the coward Tom Chaney, and has all of his money stolen from his dead body. And so this girl Maddie, she takes it upon herself to find him and bring him to justice, and she enlists the help of a sort of drunkard, roughneck U.S. Marshal, um, and his name is blanking on me too. I swear I just finished this yesterday. Um, Rooster Cogburn. I don't know why I can't. That's a memorable name. I don't know why I can't remember this. I think part of the reason why I cannot remember the names is because I really did not care for this novel all that much. I know that's sacrilege, um, but yeah. So Maddie, she enlists the help of this U.S. Marshal named Rooster Cogburn to go to help her search for Tom Chaney and to bring him to justice. And so she goes on this adventure with him, and there is also this Texas Ranger named, it's pronounced LaBeef, but it's spelled LaBeouf. I think Glenn Campbell plays him in the original movie, and then Matt Damon, for whatever reason, plays him in the Coen Brothers movie. Um, it just seems like a wildly miscast to put Matt Damon in that role. Now that I've read this book, um, but yeah, I think I was setting myself up for failure with this book because I never read westerns for whatever reason. That isn't a genre that I go for. I don't know why. One of my favorite books ever, actually. I've only read one western other than this one, and it was Lonesome Dove. So like probably considered the greatest western ever written. And then going from that to this was a significant downgrade. Lonesome Dove is one of my favorite books in all the world. Larry McMurtry is one of my favorite writers, and this seemed like the writing style of this novel seemed like a poor man's Larry McMurtry. Uh, I think I think a lot of the humor was lost on me in this novel. I don't know if it just did not translate well, or if it didn't translate well to today's times, or if I'm just not smart enough to see it. There were a couple moments in here that were funny. which all of the reviews of this talk about how it's a great story, but it's also really funny. I didn't find it all that funny. I found it kind of childish and dumb. A lot of the jokes that were attempted in this. There is one scene in this where Maddie is sleeping in she's sleeping in the back of this general store where Rooster Cogburn sleeps in. Rooster Cogburn sleeps in this back of this general store that's owned by this Chinese guy, um, and so Maddie goes to try to convince Rooster to to go on this adventure to help her find this guy. And so she is sleeping that night in the back of that general store, and she wakes up to Rooster Cogburn taking his revolver and trying to shoot a giant rat that's scurrying along the floor. But before he shoots it, he tries to reason with the rat. It's funny. It's a funny scene. But other than that, I think most of it was just lost on me. I did not care for the writing style of this. I know it's supposed to be from a 14-year-old's perspective, but I did not care for it at all. There were too many moments in this. One of the things that really knocked me out of this narrative was there were so many times where Maddie or Charles Portis, whoever you want to blame, says, "This is what happened," or "Here's what happened." That just jolts me. I don't know why, but it really got on my nerves after the fourth or fifth time that Portis wrote that. And so because it's from the perspective, it's first person perspective from Maddie later on in her life, but it grated against my nerves. But the story, like, I enjoyed it. Like, I kept reading. I did blast through this. It's 220 some pages, and I liked it, but I did not love it, and I'm leaning more towards not liking it, if I'm honest. I just think that there were several parts of this that did not age well. You could tell that this was written in the late 1960s, and you could tell that it was set in the Western times, because there are terms in this book that are not used anymore, and just some of those moments where you sort of bump your shins against a piece of metal and you're like, oh, but I mean that doesn't take you away from the story. That's just something that you realize that your morals are better than what this person and what Charles Portis's were, or than what the characters' morals were. But yeah, I really just didn't. Okay, I didn't really care for this book all that much, and I've been trying to figure out why. I think it's because of the writing. It's just not a particularly good prose style, at least for me. I'm spoiled by Larry McMurtry, so I think it's unfair to expect Charles Portis to be as good as Larry McMurtry. But yeah, I don't know what exactly this video is, but yeah, but I just wanted to talk to you about a book I read for June on the Range. I don't know if I'm going to read any more Western novels this month. There's a bunch of other books I want to get to. I am due for a reread of Lonesome Dove. I really need to reread that. So maybe I'll read Lonesome Dove. I mean, I have a bunch of Westerns, and I have a Louis L'Amour novel, The Californios, that I should probably give that a shot. I've never read Louis L'Amour, shamefully. So yeah, I don't know. I might get to reading Westerns. I might not, but anyway, June on the Range. This was my pick. So we'll see you next time.